On today's review, we're going to do the MVH 300EX.
So stay tuned. So new for 2018, Pioneer has gone ahead and introduced some different SKUs. Previously they had models like a 190 and a 290, which were both 6.2 inch screens. Seemed kind of silly because one had Bluetooth and one didn't. This year they decided to up the game just a little bit and they introduced the MVH 200 and this, the MVH 300. Now the difference between these two is the size of the screen. So a 200 has a 6.2 inch, a 300 has a 7 inch. So let's go ahead and unbox this thing and see what comes in the box. First thing up is the Bluetooth microphone, the 5-foot USB extension, the power plug. Now this is the same power plug that Pioneer's been using for several years now. Does have a warranty card and a quick start guide. It does not come with an instruction manual. If you do want to download the instruction manual, go to pioneerelectronics.com. Lastly, we get a bag of screws. Now, we're going to go ahead and finish unboxing this so we can turn it around and show you guys the back. First up is the one and only USB input. It is a 5-volt, 1 amp. The brown RCA next to it is for the backup camera. The yellow above it is the video output. Next to those is the aux input. This is a full AV input so that if you need to, you can use this to get some form of video into the radio. You have 6-channel 2-volt output through the RCAs here, starting at the bottom with the subwoofer, the rear, and then the fronts. Next up on this side, we have the main power plug. This aux jack looking input here is for the add-on steering wheel control interface. The smaller one above it is for the Bluetooth mic input. And then of course you have your FM antenna input. Now let's go ahead and spin this around and take a look at the front. When the unit first powers up, it's gonna ask you to pick one of 5 languages: English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, or Chinese. Now if you don't select one, it'll automatically default to English, and go ahead and go to the main menu. For the screen, we have a 7-inch clear resistive WVGA LED backlit 800 by 480 display. Across the bottom we have our settings. First up is going to be volume down and volume up. If you select the display button, it'll go ahead and turn the display off to reduce the brightness for nighttime driving. Simply tap the screen and it will come back on. You have your main home button, which is this Windows icon looking button here. This will take you to this main home page here. It'll take you back to the main source page, or if you press and hold it, it'll go ahead and power the radio down. Simply touch any button and it'll come back up. Now when this radio powers down, it goes ahead and turns off the Bluetooth as well as the amplifier remote turn on output, that cool blue white wire. You have mute next to it, and then you have your track up, track down. Now the display itself, for setting the clock, simply tap the clock. You can adjust your month, date, year. Hour is set in a 24-hour time. However, you can display it in a 12 or 24. So if we select X, you'll notice that the time is set back to standard 12-hour display. One of the new features in this particular operating system, we'll go ahead and select the gears, go to the art palette. It has 2 backgrounds to choose from, as well as you can actually shut the backgrounds off. This unit you cannot import your own background for. If you select illumination, you can change the colors of these buttons here between these 5 presets. You have blue, red, orange, green, white. You can also do the rainbow effect and or pick any color you want. There's 112 different color combinations. Themes allow you to pick the background color. Default is blue, red, orange, green, or white. When you're done, go ahead and select X, and you'll see your work displayed here. Now one other button that has way over here, this little pinhole, is the reset button. This unit also has 50 watts by 4. That's 14 times 4 of real power. Now what separates an AVH from an MVH like this one is that MVH doesn't have any spinning media. It has no CD DVD player, but it has tons of other sources. So let's go ahead and take a look at the sources that it has. There's 2 ways you can get to the sources. You can tap the drop down menu here or select the home icon as you saw previous, and you can pick them here. Now here you'll notice some of these are grayed out because you don't actually have access to them yet. The iPod USB is grayed out because you actually have to have something plugged into it for it to work. Let's go ahead and check out the radio. You have FM1, FM2, FM3, and AM1. If you select this arrow button here, it'll go ahead and open up the main door. To make a preset, simply tune to a channel you like. press and hold, and it will make you a preset. You can either leave it with door open or door closed. That's up to you. Next up is aux. And as we said, this is a true AV input aux jack. It is a video input if needed. Source off allows you to just turn the radio off as you saw earlier. This will allow you to still make and receive Bluetooth phone calls. Power off is just like holding the main menu button, but it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to do this? Select yes, and it'll power the radio off. There again, tap it on any one of the buttons, and it'll power back up. Now if you do plug something into the USB, in this case we've gone ahead and plugged in an iPod, but you can plug in an Android phone using MTP or a thumb drive encoded in FAT32 or 16. If you select it, it will go ahead and display the album artwork because we are connected over USB. You can see the song that is playing, the artist, as well as the CD. These three lines over here allow you to go in and search your playlists. Now lastly, let's go ahead and take a look at the Bluetooth audio. So the Bluetooth in the new MVH models is definitely a big improvement over the previous generation. Over here you have this icon, which is the dual phone icon. This allows you to tap this and select between 3 different phones. So if you select the top phone, Mr. White, it's going to go ahead and connect the Bluetooth audio to that specific phone. Now it's not connecting the actual phone for phone calling, it's just connecting the audio portion. So now what this allows you to do is be listening to the Bluetooth from one device and then come over here and make phone calls from a different device. It will not automatically switch when phone calls are being received on the other device. And if you'd like to use the other device's Bluetooth, simply select Gears, Connection, and then switch between the 3 phones that you have in order to make phone calls from those phones. So if we want to use Mr. White, we can tap that. It will go ahead and show Mr. White as the phone book that's active now. Now the big improvement on these radios as compared to their predecessors is
the audio section.
That's right.
Yes.
It's way better. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Now to get to the actual EQ, you can select EQ here and it'll take you to the new 13-band EQ. Now this EQ has 5 presets as well as 2 customizable presets. Simply tap the EQ. You can come in here and adjust this any way you like. Up top here you can pick between Custom 1 and Custom 2. When you select X, it's going to go ahead and close you out of that. If you want to get into the full EQ, select Gears, select the radiating speaker, and here you'll see the same EQ again, but you'll also find your balance and fader, your source level adjust. Source level adjust is a great feature to help you levelize the volume all across your sources so that when you switch from AM FM to Bluetooth to USB, they all play at the same levels. You just turn them up and turn them down. Subwoofer on, subwoofer off. This allows you to turn that off. It's very helpful when you're actually tuning the system, or if you have little kids and they're in the back and sleeping, you can go ahead and turn off the subwoofer. Speaker level. This has the full time correction package built into it. One of those features is speaker level. This gives you the ability to control all 5 outputs on the back of the radio, including subwoofer. So this is where your subwoofer level is going to be. You can adjust your listening position here, so you can tell it where you want to sit. Go ahead and select the back arrow. Select the down arrow. Next, select crossover. This has a front, rear, and sub crossover. Tap the on-off button over here, and you can come in and adjust the crossover by simply tapping these arrows here to turn up and down the frequency, as well as these 2 arrows here to adjust the slope. If you notice, this is the cutoff point for where you want that crossover to start reducing the volume to those speakers. Tap this arrow, you can get to the front, turn that one on. Tap it again and you can get to your subwoofer. Next up is actually subwoofer settings. This is a fast key to those crossover settings we were just on. This will take you directly to the subwoofer crossover. Listening position. This is a fast key to the actual listening positions that were in the speaker level page. Time alignment. This is where all the magic happens. When you measure bad or very low subwoofer track. When you tap here, it'll go ahead and increase or decrease the amount of bass that you get. But keep in mind, if you have a track that has a ton of bass, don't use this feature. You could blow your speakers because it's just not coming out of the subwoofer output of the radio, it's coming out of all 6 outputs. Tap down again. Last but not least, you have loudness control. This has a 3-step loudness control, which is very helpful if you listen to music at low levels. This will allow you to have some impact to your music at those lower levels. Now lastly, what we just want to do is talk about some of the menu features you might be interested in. Go ahead and select the wrench screwdriver. First up is going to be AV source setting. Here you can go ahead and turn on and off the Bluetooth audio, so if you're not going to be using it, you can turn it off here. That'll remove it from the menu. Your aux input, you can turn that on and off. There again, it'll allow you to remove it from the menu. Camera settings. So if you are going to be adding a backup camera to this, of course you have to hook up the purple white wire to the reverse light trigger. Then you have to come in here and turn this on. If you don't turn this on, it's not going to know that there's something connected to it. Go ahead and select the X here. Now if you tap the drop down menu, you'll see where it says camera view. Here you'll be able to actually view your backup camera. Now we don't have one connected, but you'll see two icons here, an X and what looks like some form of a watch, we'll say. If you tap this, this will allow you to go in here and touch your screen and do whatever you want, and then once you stop touching, 10 seconds, it's going to go ahead and flip back to the rear view image. When you're done, select X. System language. If you didn't have time to select the system language at the beginning, here you can go ahead and select it later. And last but not least, we have restore settings. If like us, you like to touch and feel every button and go through every menu, and then when you're done, you're like, what did I do? What did I set? You want to get it back to default out-of-box settings, go ahead and select restore settings, select restore, and the unit will reset itself to just like it's brand new, fresh out of the box. As you can see here, it's displaying your language selection again, and the default color blue has gone ahead and come back up. Now, if for some reason you can't get into your restore settings, or there's a menu that's grayed out, you have to make sure that the light green brake wire is engaged to get to those features.
Correct.
Thank you. Alright, you good?
Yes.
Excited?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll end the show.
Alright, if you like this video, please subscribe, share, like. You know where you find us: Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
You guys have a great night as always. We hope you found this extremely helpful. We'll see you later next time. Bye.